Hello everybody, it's Joshino, and today I'm going to be doing an update. Firstly, mega thank you to absolutely everyone for supporting my channel. We've hit 10,000 subscribers, everybody. That's 10,000. That's a very small stadium filled up right there. Or, I don't know, is it a small stadium or a big stadium? Some sort of stadium. Also, I've come outside to have a little bit of a better scene behind me, and I also thought I'd check out my wind cut thing that I've had for a long time now, never used, but it's like a wind thing over my microphone on my camera. Some things I'm going to talk about, just some updates for my channel. Soon I'm going to put out a Planetside 2 video, I think. Basically I'm going to try and do something like the war report, which is basically a news report on a battle in Planetside 2, and it's going to focus on one of the construction fights I've filmed from overhead. The only thing I'm iffy about is that it's sort of just using the format by that other chap that did the war report stuff, so a bit iffy, but I think it's something that I could do. And basically I've injured myself a bit. Firstly, I cut my finger open, well I sliced my knuckle open, the bone popped out, but I haven't been able to like left click on my mouse, so I haven't been able to play FPS games really, which isn't really very good, to be honest. The only games that I've been able to play are strategy games like Stellaris, which just came out, and that's obviously all I have to do is click with my left hand. I've been trying to do that. I did try and play Planetside 2. I took an engineer and tried to put down auto turrets, which have been changed. They made it so you can carry 3 now, but you can still only put down 1, so really they're not that useful still. But I gave that a shot and got pretty angry just because I couldn't shoot. I used a shotgun as well because I was, you know, physically impaired a little bit. Not a dig at shotgun users, obviously. I also, about an hour ago, fell through the kitchen floorboard, which wasn't nice, and cut up my foot. I'll put a picture up now. It's not that bad, I just sort of grazed it and twisted my ankle a little bit, but you don't normally expect to be walking along in a kitchen and then suddenly fall through the floorboard. It wasn't ideal, to be quite honest. It really was not ideal. My life's still quite a bit potty at the moment, so if you didn't know, I was made redundant about a month ago. I'm sort of running out of money now. Sold a few things on eBay, including a camera lens, but we'll get there. Good news, and being transparent, the video why it's now the time to play Planetside 2 made about roughly $110 so far, because it's got about 140,000 views, which is actually quite good in the long run. And I'm honestly quite breathtaking that I got that 140,000 views, because that's my biggest video ever, and sort of it smashed all of my monthly views up to this point as well, so that was all good. But obviously it's not enough to live off, unfortunately. And also the way YouTube works is my partner pays me 3 months in arrears, and they take 30% of the cut. I actually negotiated having a 10% raise because of how many views I was starting to get, and they were quite happy with that. I'm with Freedom, if you've heard of them. So yeah, and I don't really like to beg, but my Patreon's here and you can donate there, or my PayPal's on the front of my YouTube if you did want to, and obviously don't know, not begging or anything, and that's out of the way. So let's get on to something else. I've got a load of questions, and as normal I've put it on a piece of paper because my mobile phone makes my camera go crazy. And somebody did actually mention to go into flight mode, and I didn't try that, and I haven't got my phone with me, so maybe I could have done that actually. Anyway, Phosperon says, did you get bullied in the past? And I don't think I got bullied and picked on specifically, but just as you go through school, you do get bullies that turn their attention to you for a while, and I went through some of that, but I don't think I was specifically targeted or bullied too badly. Because I was tall, people that we probably call them chavs used to chase after me and try and rugby tackle me, but actually I was quite fast as well because I had long legs. I was good at like 400 meters, but anything after that I wasn't very good at, so I could run away. It was alright. Mikhail Trulson says, do you have a partner? And also I've just noticed it's got really sunny, which makes me squint, but also very nice for for an English person to have actually sun for once. This might be the only sun that we have all year, so that's why the video's outside today as well. Anyway, Mikkel Trulson says, do you have a partner? And no, I don't at the moment, unfortunately. Whether I could keep one happy with the income I have at the moment, which is 0, I'm not too sure. In Slel LPT, I'm sorry, I probably got that wrong. I've written it down terribly. It could be something, it could be anything. These could be ones. Oh well, you'll just have to tell me. They say, what are your favourite games? From the past, probably Zelda, Oracle of Time. Obviously Planetside 2 is my current shooter. Battlefield 1942, the mod Galactic Conquest was amazing. Conker's Bad Fur Day, great. Mario Party is absolutely fantastic, and I played the living daylights out of it as a child. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any others. But those games were all great. Panda the Green says, boobs or butts? And to be honest, I think I've been swayed. I think I'm a butt man. Room Penrod says, have you been to the States? And yes, I've been to New York, and I've been to Florida to, you know, the normal sort of like Disneyland stuff. So yeah, I've been to a few places in the US. Probably like to go back there again. Kane Jagoosh asks, would you like a weather system in Planetside 2? I think a weather system would be pretty good in theory, in that it'd make the game look good. And he was talking about sandstorms and maybe blizzards on Esmir. A weather system would be very cool, but the problem is that one, people might not be able to play because of the lower performance that a weather system would bring, and also the people that actually turned it on and had the graphics on high would be visually impaired when the people that turned it off wouldn't be, so there'd be like a problem with competition. I mean, if they put it on and people chose it and it gave you a warning saying this will make the game harder for you but prettier, then maybe they could do that, but obviously it's probably not going to be their top to-do list. But it was something that they did advertise when they brought out H1Z1, and it was talked about with Planetside 2 as well. They did show rain, I think, quite a while ago when H1Z1 was in development in Planetside 2, which was interesting. Although that could have been Shackle, I don't 100% remember. Shanawaz Ahmed says, you should try more popular FPS games like CSGO, as Kamikaze is doing it and he's having a lot of fun. Yes, I do play CSGO occasionally, and I've been playing Overwatch more recently. There might be some Overwatch footage in the background, I'm not too sure yet. I'm just going to throw some things in. Seeing as I haven't been able to record anything current in the FPS realm, it'll be some past footage. Maybe some of the bits of me failing with my auto turrets as well, me getting a little bit annoyed. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to trying other FPS games, and I'm going to play Battlefield 1 once it comes out, as that'll be interesting. It's not going to be I see the gaming as like a palette. You have a palette of games and each one fulfills some sort of desire. For me, the MOBA desire is fulfilled by Dota 2. Overwatch is probably going to be my new go-to shooter once it comes out. I've bought it, pre-ordered it. And obviously Battlefield 1 will come out, but it's still probably going to be a different game from Planetside 2. Until Battlefield gets 120 players plus, it's just not going to be the same sort of game. I find Battlefield to be a little too sparse on the players, and once you play Planetside 2, it's hard to go back, even though the controls are more solid on something like Battlefield. Dr. Gore says, if time and money were no issue, what would you do with this channel and just generally in life? To be honest, I think that I'd probably spend more time on content that I wanted to put out, and probably spend like a week on doing one video rather than putting out quite a lot of videos. I mean, at the moment, sort of, there is a bit of a focus on trying to get as many people into the channel as possible, and I'd probably do less videos like the one, why is now the time to play Planetside 2, to be honest. I mean, I'd probably just focus on making the people that I already got happy, as, to be honest, YouTube at the moment is something that makes me happy because people are interacting, and that's the fun part. I might do some things that are a bit outfield as well, maybe doing some more nature videos just for a laugh. So just being a bit more focused on the subscribers and what they want, and doing stuff that I want to do, basically, rather than some of the videos that maybe I make to try and get a larger audience, because in some ways I have the hope in the back of my head that at some point I might be able to make YouTube a bit bigger and maybe even a job, but the reality is at the moment it just isn't that. but maybe I do shift my content and try to get more out just because of wanting to get a larger audience, really. So yeah, and what would I do with life? I'd probably spend a lot more time in charity work, protesting, and doing campaigning, to be honest. I have done a few years of charity work and then actually got a job with it, so there's that. And I didn't have the money at that point to actually do it, really, but I did, so I suppose I'd do something similar again. Although if I had that money, I'd probably be using it to fund something, or maybe set up a charity, or something to sort of push society forwards, and push my own views. So that'd probably be what I'd do with it. I'm not somebody that would like to sit back and relax in a hot tub every day. It's just not me, really. The Rogue Wolf points out basically that a fortnight is an English saying, so I must have said in the last video that the next one was going to be a fortnight. And it's good that it isn't well known around the world as a saying for 2 weeks, seeing as it's been a month. So yeah. On to the next one. Rosearch Gaming says, what game would you play once Planetside 2 dies? And actually, since the construction update, there's been a massive spike of players, and I think there was almost 10,000 players at once on, which was listed on the stat site the other day, or I saw that on Reddit anyway. Whether it's true or not, I'm not too sure. I didn't really look into it, but that's quite a lot of players. It's going back up, and we're in sort of the territory where people are checking the game out again, and they're staying because it's quite an interesting development in the construction system. Whether I move on, the thing is, I wouldn't really want to move on with a main FPS, like a Battlefield style FPS, if there wasn't a game that hadn't got the player count that Planetside 2 has, or close. I mean, some of the fights that Planetside 2 has are sort of, 150 players. Maybe I'd hope that at some point there'd be some successor, maybe not Planetside 3, but something else that I could move on to. Otherwise I don't know, but maybe something will just catch me up. Maybe something else will become my main game, but I don't think I'll stop playing Planetside 2, but it might just be that the people just stay for a different game that I start playing, but we'll have to see. Alvodar Almanias asks, if I am a racist / Trump supporter, and do you want Planetside 2 players to play on a monthly fee or get deported? Actually, no, I'm not a Trump supporter at all. I'd say in the American political landscape, I'm very much on the Bernie side, feeling the burn, and I do actually follow his campaign, and it was actually quite shocking what happened in, I think, Nevada today. So yeah, I actually stayed up to watch a lot of the delegate count. I think what he's talking about it is my Planetside 3 video, which is probably my most disliked video. Basically, I did a Planetside 3, and it was it basically wasn't my ideal game, which would have just been something ridiculous. It was a game that I thought might actually be able to come out, and it wasn't exactly a perfect outline. It was something that I thought could be realistic, and obviously it was a small initial pay, and then cosmetic items like something like CSGO. But obviously it didn't go down well with a lot of people, and people made fair comments saying that people in the third world wouldn't be able to play, which is like Airy says, could I check out their montage? So I had a look at it, it was nice, yeah, so that one's out of the way. Extreme Gamers asks, do you prefer to play as a male or female character? Normally in games, to be honest, especially like RPGs, I like to play as a female, because obviously I'd rather look at a female form than some butch guy and looking at his ass all the time. I'd rather look at a female character, and it's more pleasant that way from my point of view. And I suppose as a gay man or a straight woman, playing as a male might also pose the same sort of situation. Although role-playing element, do I actually role-play a woman? No. And in Planetside 2, although it probably isn't right, the female form does seem slightly slimmer than the male form, so in some way it might be an advantage. He also asks if I could give statistics, which is from all the polls, and I've been meaning to do that. It's just basically I have to compile them, because there's no ways to like get the text off it or anything like that. I just have to take a screenshot of it and post them out. But because some of them are reaching hundreds of people taking part in the polls, they're actually quite interesting. So I will actually release those at some point. Nick Martin asks, can you make a vid about how things will change in Planetside 2? And I think probably since that month is gone of when the question was asked, I've probably done a lot of that with the construction update, stuff like that, and covering the new rocklet rifle that's come out. So yeah, basically thank you all very much for your questions so far. Even if you want to do some criticism or you're not happy with something, then feel free to ask a question for next time, and hopefully it will be in a fortnight. But as seeing as a lot of you don't understand what that is, as it's an English saying or a UK saying, I may be able to get away with it again. But thank you all very much for sticking with the channel as well, and thank you for getting us to 10k. I always thought that it would get more serious once I got to 10k, but I suppose that when you actually get there, you always look back and think it's smaller than it is, but it is actually a massive achievement, and thank you everybody. And I think a lot of it was that video that got the 140,000 views at the moment. It was a pretty big deal. So we've had about 3,000 in the past few weeks, so anyway, if you enjoy my content or you want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you thought it was a bit rubbish, you can hit the dislike button. Until next time everyone, Joshino. Wow, I'm really lame at this.